Yo, what's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? You already know who it is, man. It's your boy Marcel Griffin, founder of Griffin Speaks, man. I'm known as the Wealth Mentor across social media, but everybody just call me Marcel for short. And bro, Wealthy Sibling. What is the goal of Wealthy Sibling? Why do you tap in? It's because you are trying to change your family's money story. Whether you are the wealthy, whether you choose or want to be the wealthy sibling or wealthy relative, it's that journey, right? And how do we do this, right? No one talks about, man, if I am the chosen sheep, what is that? If I am the chosen one, what is that like? How do I get to a bag? How do I make some money if I'm deciding or end up having to be, the other one's high, the wealthy sibling, right? So this show is for any family member or any person who is a thriving entrepreneur, is a person with a dream, and you're like, man, Joe, I want my predicament to change. And essentially, what's going to end up happening? I'm gonna change my family's money story. But this episode 26, man, it's a new wealth economy, and I'm gonna pose this question for sure, for sure. Like for me, if God gave you a memo and said, "Hey, the world finna look different in a few years, a few days, a few months, and I got a shot for you to change your predicament, but it's through the internet. Would you take it?" So, what do I mean, bro? It's a new wealth economy, bro. It's content, careers, or influence. So sometimes both, but you got to make the decision what you want it to be. Now, what blew for this occasion? Because guess what, y'all? Recently, this week, right? So this week, Facebook for the older people, or AKA Meta for the Gen Zs, came out with I believe they call it a fast track content creation month. Not the best thing about people who started content creation in like 2020 up to now, you have a head start because you've got enough followers to apply or be a part of this fast track movement, right? So what do I mean when I say that? And why is this important? Because they're giving you opportunity to make, they call it guaranteed. They say, bro, if you meet the requirements, as long as you post, you're gonna be making money a month. It's a stream of income from something you was doing for free anyway. And anybody who know the real metrics, who's been in the game, bro, it's pennies. It's change. Now, hey, if God blesses you to say you can create content revenue, there's some people that did have made thousands, 10 thousands of dollars off of their views. But as a majority, it ain't like that. So now what's happening is you getting a shot at, even if you are everyday. What do I mean when I say everyday? Even if you like an everyday creator, you can have a monthly income. Now, if you were part of the wealthy siblings and you creating, your wealthy family, what we gonna do with this monthly income from this content that we're getting this opportunity on? Invest it. Start you a long-term portfolio, start you a Roth, like start you a wealth plan and invest the money. Because it's free money that can grow. The annual percentage of people who invest their money in the market, they get an annual return of like 5 to 10%, somewhere in between there. If you're talking about year to date, it might be 7 to 8 as of right now. But come on, man, you get into a bag and it's growing, shorty. It's the simplest put it. Your $100 turned into 110, and you ain't doing nothing. Come on, man. Getting you putting free money that you getting on the front end, and you making free money on the back end. Outside, if you don't, you know what I'm saying. If you put it in a raw, it's taxes and tax free. You feel me? That's what I mean when I say free money on the front end with this fast track, and then free money on the back end if you put it in a raw. All right, so let's get into it. Wealth is changing fast. What do I mean? 10 years ago, wealth equaled a job plus promotion. That's that 6 figure, 8 figure realm, 250 a year, lawyers, doctors, but 8 years worth of schooling, right? Today, wealth equals content. That's what the creation of a content creator, of an influencer. That was not a thing 5 years ago. It was either you a celebrity in entertainment, rapper, athletics. There was no thing as a content creator about 10 years ago, right? So now it's content, skills, audience, and ownership. Most of y'all stop at content. Most of y'all don't really have too many skills, and you're holding on or hoping that your audience is going to pay you, but you have no ownership, right? Not even of your brand. So, what do I mean when I say this? Platforms are now going back to like the meta fast track. They're going to be paying you directly, right? Which gives you credibility for brands to build into like schools and elaborate skills. But now even podcasts can get into the realm, and you can be worth millions, right? In the budget. So here's the thing. We're watching a shift from employment, from the employment economy to the influence economy. But what does that mean, right? So the Facebook Creative Fast Track. What does this mean? Facebook is competing for creators. It's a new program that is designed to pay creators faster, give monetization access sooner, because some of these platforms have different requirements, and sometimes it's tough to reach if you don't have as much free time as others. I am a king to that. That's why you see me batch content. I'm giving you some plays, batch content. Um, Post when you are inspired. It doesn't have to look the best, but if you are trying to be on brand, sometimes to be polished, I understand that. But if we out here and we trying to make a name, we on hustle grind, post it, bro. But for the fast track, it's going to increase distribution of content, right? So Meta has been consolidating its monetization tools into one system where creators can earn from multiple formats like Reels, long form videos, photos, and text. Like they're putting this thing together. Now, the guaranteed payment equals platform buying your consistency. Most platforms ain't just paying you, and it says guaranteed. Most people, most platforms ain't doing guaranteed. It's you make this depending upon your viewage, if they're gonna give you a penny, a nickel, a dollar. You know what I'm saying? Like it's similar to the streaming. They ain't talking. Nobody else is talking guaranteed. So this is actually really big. But posting requirements, right? They're going to be start training platform. They're going to start training the creators to build like habits. 30 days of consistency. It takes 30 days to build a habit. What you gonna do when it comes to this content creation thing? And then faster reach, the algorithm incentives, similar to like the bonuses. The bonuses was hot, and a lot of people sleeping on the bonuses, especially when the algorithm was just incentivizing you. Hey, bro, you post, might click, you got you $500 on the back end, $1,000 on the back end. Like it's really dope like that. And then what is the content? How should you look at it? Your content for you guys is real estate. It's digital real estate, right? If you post consistently, if you have organic or what they like to call original content, and bro, you got a niche, you know what I'm saying? Where you placing yourself, is it gonna be in education? It's like for me, I do finance. I do money content. That's what I do. I don't try to be a person that creates skits. If I'm feeling jolly and I, you know what I'm saying, I want to mix it up a bit, I might do that. It might be on the entertainment side. But I don't do skits. I don't pretend to do skits. Right. But if you do skits and you want to do skits, do skits. But you have to learn the ins and outs of doing skits, right? And then, what are you building, right? So this is future sponsorship leverage, right? Monetization eligibility, and then audience equity. So as long as you got a core group, this can work for you for real. I really believe that. And what I want you to take from this is followers equal distribution power, right? So your followers are going to be the engine that could and would get you to that bag. Build wealth by taking action. Use this program to take action and set your goals, man. Say, hey, I'm gonna post 3 times a day at these 3 times, right? And I know that can sound like a lot. Start at 2 times a day because you got to bump it up. I ain't gonna lie to you. You might not the 1 time a day thing, just posting a day. That's cool, but you might want to bump it up for real, especially when this program come out, right? But distribution power equals revenue, right? The distribution content, do your revenue on the back end, and revenue power equals what ownership. At some point, you should be taking the money that is coming in from your content to create ownership for your brand, right? Now, Another thing that came out, which was really really dope, Rolex, the most probably one of the most notable watches around. It was a staple in fashion. They're doing a watchmaking school. Why? Because people are wanting to get into trades, and then you can also sit yourself into a luxury market. What is happening? Luxury brands are facing aging workforces, right? People get older. You know what I'm saying? People get older and they might not be getting wiser. They're declining in what you would call skilled trades, right? And the demand for premium craftsmanship is declining. So, what is Rolex doing? They're creating their own talent. Hey, so you work for Rolex Pipeline, that means that you might be able to get a like Rolex collaboration. So they can have a Prince Marcel, right? They can have a Prince Marcel watch that is based out of Rolex. And I can have these Pacific clear cut diamonds, right? Or it's made out of like platinum intricacies that makes the value over like $100,000, right? As an example. But what is watchmaking, right? I know a guy who plays this great detective called Alex Cross as his character. He's into watchmaking. And I think that that is a very intricate and established skill that I think we as a culture should get into. And what and play a part in, right? The same way Mrs. Weaver got into the liquor business and she stamped for the culture Uncle Nearest as a founder in the liquor staple. Why can't we get into watches and use the Rolex, was already notable, as the platform to do it, right? But here's what it is. Why watchmaking? Watchmaking is a high margin luxury engineer. The entry salaries can reach up to like $95,000, and it's skilled, high valued skills or skilled security versus like wage power. And this is again, this is similar to a trade or like electricians, aviation mechanics, and automation technicians, right? So, what is this like, bro? We talking about watches. Why is this beneficial to me? Okay, let's get into it. Not all wealth comes from social media. So I need you. Yes, the Meta Facebook fast track thing. That's cool. It's quick money, but this is a different path. This is a three wealth pathway that is emerging, right? So one is the creator economy for sure. The other is skilled trade economy, and lastly is ownership and the investing economy, right? And you should be tapped into all three if we're gonna have this conversation. What are we here to do? We are here to change our family's money story. We're here to build a bag, and we're here to become wealthy, the wealthy sibling, the wealthy relative that can do all these things, right? But a lot of that times, what does it mean? You got to be first one to do it. So skills that cannot be outsourced. This is the watchmaker thing. Automation easily. Precision engineering, healthcare, infrastructure, and luxury manufacturing. These things cannot be outsourced at this moment. So while there is an opportunity, you take hold of that opportunity. All right. Now, there was this very, very interesting thing that happened, and they posed this question of, if you had a $1 million budget to be a co-host for a year and you could implement these two, who would it be? Now, for me, on the fly, because I'll give you mine first and then I'll give you my quick breakdown as to why. So I only got $1 million. Now they have some unknowns that I don't know. This is the truth. But I'll give you the rest of the graph. So they got um I think it's Andre Genius. He's an NBA player. They got Gilly. I don't like the number that they gave Gilly. They gave him 75,000, which is crazy. They got Mace from What If that does the show with Cameron. They got him at 200. They got Shamar Shumpert at 300. They got someone else who I don't know at 400. They got Joe Budden at 500. They got Fat Joe from the Joe and Jada at 600. They got Wallow at 700. They got Cam at 800, which is like I get that you may deem one person out of the duo is more valuable than the other, but they're a part of the duo. So I feel like you should put a little more respect in their name. But they put Cam at 800. They got Charlemagne at 900, and then they got Shannon Sharp at a meal. Honestly, I feel like Charlemagne should be at the meal over Shannon, but each his own, give him respect to the impact. What am I going to do? I only have 1 million, right? And I get to sign these two talents for the podcast, right? Which gives me 2 years, and I could, if I'm on there, I'm hop on as a co-host. Who am I going to hire or put on? Okay. Now, it doesn't give you the number in which you can sign them, so like you don't have to just do two. So if and I'm one of them, I'm gonna stretch my bag and get the most for my buck. So as much of an impact, I could say if I signed and hired Charlemagne for the 9,500, I do essentially and could essentially get, like we talking about right now, that means that I could get access to the Black Effect Network and that image in stream of profit and the characters and that money machine, right? This is very, very true. But I'm only left with 100,000. Now, what you could do, this is a businessman or a wealthy man's thought process. If I went with Charlemagne for the 900,000, I still have enough money to get Gilly. And this is their market. This is not my price range. So they gave Gilly for like 75,000, which is still crazy to me, because I think that you're undervaluing who Gilly is and the part that he plays in the duo of $1 million worth of games, straight like that. And I think that he should be higher, especially higher than Guinness. Like, to be for real. I'm just being for real. That's just how I feel about it. But in Ascension, I have a connection to $1 million worth of game. Like I can get Charlemagne, which is the like, okay, just let's run the play. I get an extension because I had signed Charlemagne. I get the Black Effect Network. I still have enough money to sign Gilly, and an extension I could possibly get $1 million worth of game or the attachments to that games, which is Wallow and everything else that comes with it. So that's a play when you think beyond just who you sign and everything else that comes with it. So a lot of people don't do that. Just from my breakdown, real quick, I think I would probably, to get the most for my buck, I would probably run that play with the million on the back end. Now, if any other version, I would shoot for. ah, I would shoot for Wallow for the level of business that he rolls with, and I've spoken to Wallow. Like I paid attention to like directly. I've directly spoken to Wallow and got game directly from Wallow when he went on his book tour. He came to Chicago. I had the video out. I do not cap when I do these things. So when I talk about a lot of things, I've been in the room, spoken to these people, like yes, and studied them as well. So I would probably run, if I ran his back as option two, because like, bro, what would be other options? Real quick, I'll probably go Wallow and Shumpert. I like Joe, but Wallow still gives me access, and Shumpert gives me something like new and fresh, new eyes, maybe some Gen Zs that they chop in with them. I can see that for my meal. I got two people. Boom. Now let's get into it. Uh, what is the purpose of this? Well, bro, the coach is powerful. So media personalities are now treated like athletes. They're treated like signed free agents. They're valuable, right? Influence is valuable. So when someone gets paid, 4,000, not 4,000, 400K, 600K, a million. What does that mean? That means that their voice generates revenue. So podcasting now has become a new media arm. Podcasting has to be respected as a part of media, which is why, like, when I say, yo, I'm part of the Wealthy Sibling podcast, I'm the host of the Wealthy Sibling podcast, owner of the Wealthy Sibling podcast, I want to shoot your, um, basketball uh circuit, right? Shoot it out to the 45,000 people who I have across all my platforms together. That's how you would frame it. But that's my strong arm. That's my media arm. It's a marketing funnel. It's a culturally influenced platform. This is what it is. We here to get to a bag. We here to speak from a cultural perspective, but we also here to change our family's money story because who else gonna do it? Nobody else really will. Now, here are the benefits for you to why you should be tuning in. Attention is now an asset. If you ain't learned that from the past 20 to 30 minutes we've been talking, I don't know what you listening to. But now you control the audience, the narrative, and the brand partnerships. Because as long as these things are flowing, wealth is flowing, opportunities flowing, the brands they flowing. All right. Now, you don't just build or create content, you build media leverage, the negotiation power, and the IP. Favorite word, IP, intellectual property. And that's how we get to it. Through this, you become established. Through this, you have leverage. Through this, we get to a bag on here on Wealthy Sibling. That's what we do. All right. Now, what I want to remind you of before we go is, again, with what's happening, especially with Facebook right now, Facebook, they trying to pay creators. Guaranteed. It say guaranteed on the flyers, pimp. Rolex, they trying to train skilled workers, give you an actual trade. And podcasting, I still believe, because I've had this in real time, they do pay for your voice. They're paying voices. Right. So what does this mean? The economy is rewarding skill, consistency, influence, and most of all, which where you have the most leverage, ownership. I want you to remember that. Ownership. Um, Here is the microeconomic impact as a gloss over. Automation and AI, worldly reasons, companies are reducing labor costs. So they're going to shift their mind, impact, and influence other places. And you can fill that gap, right? There's going to be a rise of individual brands. It's going to be a talent shortage, but there's going to be a skill increase. Now, here's my last thoughts before we go. Wealth is no longer one lane from this conversation. You create it with your voice, you create it with your hands, or you can create it with your capital and ownership. But the worst mistake you can do in 2026 is not understand the shift of the new economy that we in. It's the worst thing you can do. And with that, I'm your boy Marcel, and this is Wealthy Sibling for sure. Appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate y'all.